whenever you're going to do those things, make sure that you're not doing them from necessarily a place of insecurity, but do them from a place of... So, my girlfriend wants to get huge, fake tits, pierce the nipples, and just become this little blonde epitome of what we see on Instagram and, as models or as, hips, as the epitome of what our eyes are drawn to in the feminine form. I have thoughts. And it's interesting because it's actually linked to diet, it's linked to gym, it's linked to becoming the best version of yourself, and it's also surgery, right? So, firstly, what's my actual stance? Well, my actual stance is quite interesting. When you look at it, building muscle itself is actually taking your muscles, ripping them, so actually causing damage to the muscles, and then repairing them a little larger. So it's actual legitimate body modification. So when you become really good at lifting weights, all you're really good at is actually pushing past that mental block where your brain says stop, and you push even further and end up creating micro tears in your muscle. Now, unlike surgery, it's a long process to build muscle, like years and years and years and years. It's very slow, it takes time. Body modification, I'm all about love yourself. I'm all about love who you are, love who you are, love who you are, love the body that you're in. But you should love the body that you're in to treat it good, right? So you should love your body that you treat it good. You should feed it good. You should feed your brain good stuff. You should treat your body nicely. You should have good self-talk. I used to have a lot of negative self-talk, and I kind of still do. And I think it's useful to be harsh and critical of yourself, but it's not useful to bash yourself or be negative about it, because really, when we just bash ourselves for things, it's just a thing we do instead of actually doing the work, right? It's that simple. Anyway, for her, she was a larger girl at one time. With that larger girl came large chest, came large everything. And a lot of her femininity at the time was attached to a curvature figure. Then she wanted to get skinny. Well, she met me. Or she wanted to get skinny, then she met me, then she got skinny, here we are. Throughout that process, though, she lost a lot of the size in her chest. Fair enough. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to get surgery. Obviously, surgery is horrific. Like, surgery that's elective is not great because complications can happen. It's unnatural. Why do something? Just accept with what you're at. But at the same time, it's been over a year now, and the person is still now, outside of all insecurity, outside of all of that, is saying, look, I really knew what life as an experience of a more bustier girl was compared to what it is now. And there's an element of her femininity that's lost. So, as a man, maybe, if I'm just laying on the couch all day, eating pizzas, and not moving, and not doing much, a sense of my masculinity is gone. So, some people take, steroids, or some people get on, amphetamines or something, or to be like, yes, I'm going to just do stuff, and I'm going to become more of a man, and I'm going to do stuff, and then they go to the gym. So, that's a form of body modification as well. So, I don't know what to think about it. Well, I do know what to think about it. I think everybody has their own choice and they can do what they will with those own choices. With every choice, there is a negative and positive reaction. So, for example, with building muscle, the negative reaction, which most people don't know, is a person that's not building muscle all the time is actually not in pain in their body. Where my body is always under a high amount of stress and a high amount of pain because I'm always trying to break it or tear it or push it or pull it or do any of that stuff. So that's pretty tough. But that's a negative side. So that's a negative side, which if you think about it, is negative. So surgery, there's negative stuff as well, but if you're willing to take the risks of that and you've made a serious decision and you're not trying to do it to be like, my life isn't complete until I have that thing. So I think it's very wrong to think until I get ripped, until I get muscular, I am wrong. And I spent a lot of my life living like that. So until I am this way, only then will I be okay. But if you can eliminate that and instead say, look, I'm actually okay with right now, but I'm loving life and I'd like things to be a bit better. Now, sure, where do you draw the line and where do you not draw the line, I think is a very tough place to be. But if it adds to your life, if you're willing to take the risk and the repercussions of what the negative sides is, your choice, your life, your rules. But the biggest mental model that I want you to walk away with is when making choices like this, and that includes building muscle, that includes losing a lot of weight. Like if you're going to lose a lot of weight, you're going to feel shit for a while. Like you're going to feel underfed for a while. It's not going to be great. Well, it's going to be great, but it's going to be tough. Whenever you're going to do those things, make sure that you're not doing them from necessarily a place of insecurity, but do them from a place of like, hey, I want this, and my life is already good now. It's not from a place of I'm broken and I need to fix myself. I am perfect as I am now, and with the things available to me and the choices that are available to me, I'd like to do something to enhance my experience of life, and I'm willing to take the risks associated with it. So there is risks inherently with everything. For example, many of you may not know, I used to smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes are actually the hardest thing. Nicotine was the hardest thing for me to ever get rid of. The hardest thing. It was horrific. And there was a big pro with smoking cigarettes. I was able to keep myself addicted, so every half an hour, every 40 minutes, I would do tasks in between my cigarettes, and there'd be a drive. And now there's even evidence showing that nicotine has mental improvements. This is not selling nicotine to you. But what happened was, when I eliminated nicotine, the negative was that now I didn't have that drive. I didn't have that addiction, like, let's go harder, more. I didn't have that anymore, and because I didn't have that anymore, I needed to develop my own core and my own strength of what it actually takes to achieve stuff outside of all this other addiction noise. So, there's pros and cons with everything. Choices can be made, and, cigarettes were killing me. No good. But I had to make choices, and with each choice that you make, there's a positive and negative reaction. If you consider what's the positives, what's the negatives, and then you still make a choice and you guys still want to choose that and it doesn't come from a negative place, then that's great. But I definitely sit in a camp, I think, outside of other people. I don't know, I think that every man is like, yeah, to your wife or your partner, you're like, yeah, look hotter, do whatever you want. Like, yeah, if you want to do it, babe, yeah. Where I'm like, no, like, it's your mental sanity here. Like, no, none of that. It must come from the very right place, and very right place, because my desires or how, the benefits of me is not the benefits for you, if that makes sense. Like, we need to be very certain that whatever decision you make is very, very clearly, because there's some decisions that can be reversible, some that cannot be reversible. Anyway, tough. But who knows, man? What do I know? Michael Jackson, he got a lot of work done. Have a look where he is now. Well, at the moment, he's dead, so I guess he's nowhere. But he did have a roller coaster at his house. So I don't have a roller coaster at my house. Maybe I just need to go a little bit wider, get a nose job, and go, hee. And maybe I will be better then. So, anyway, that's today. We're getting shredded. And Thailand soon, so that's exciting. It's going to be fun. See you tomorrow.